dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
What's up, y'all? It's KMB, the Sexy Ninja, in the place to be for our Paper Saber universe, and this is the New World Podcast, brother. Oh my goodness, talk about a weekend of some wrestling all the way from Thursday on to Saturday, and me just catching up. We're gonna do this in sections this time. So instead of going through show per show and how they aired and whatnot, I want to talk about TNA first because they had their big show this weekend, and that was Turning Point. We had a Thanksgiving special that was aired in place of the weekly Impact show. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little behind on Impact. So going into Turning Point, like, I watched matches, really wasn't paying attention to storylines and whatnot. So when I looked at the card for Turning Point, I was like, oh, okay, well, I have no clue what's going on here, but why is Eddie Edwards facing Nick Nemeth for the championship? You know, why this, why that? But let's go on to talk about the Thanksgiving special itself. I have my notes here, and it aired November 28th, 2024. It is now December, which is crazy. But yeah, let's talk about the show. Matthew and Tom host, of course, and they show us matches that have not been seen yet or seen before on TNA programming. And the first match we get is The System versus Joe /PCO/Sammy. This was a fun match. You can't go wrong with these guys. And this was kind of like the best of the best that was not shown. You know, these were taped but not shown to us, and they were made for this Thanksgiving special. Also, too, everyone that can enjoy their holiday break before we get to Turning Point, which is at WrestleCade. They got Jordan versus Danny Luna. This was a really fun match. I love Jordan Grace. I can't wait until she goes to WWE and maybe NXT first, or she goes to the main roster. She's a big powerhouse, and I really do like Jordan Grace a lot. Then we get some Death Machine poker going. PCO cheated. He cheated, that bastard. Sets up a match for next week's Impact. Leon Slater versus Trent versus Mustafa Ali. Of course you're going to get a banger out of this. Just the sound of these three. Come on, man. Mustafa Ali got the win. Oh, yes, Jordan Grace got the win. You know, this is a show that's just like giving us matches, so there's really no storytelling. Jake Something versus Mike Bailey. Awesome match. I was going for Mike Bailey, but Jake Something got the win because of Hammerstone. Alexander Hammerstone, straight out of Phoenix. Shout out to him, man. He's a beast on his own. First Class versus Rhino and Joe. Joe Hendry's on this show twice, you know, because he was on this first match. But this was a fun one. And Rhino, gore! You know, he gets the win, and Joe. Then we get a casket match, which was a lot of fun. Moose versus PCO, and it started the way I expected it to. The System beat down on PCO, and then of course, you know, here comes Joe 3 times on this show, but PCO got the win over Moose, putting him in the casket. And then we end it with the big main event, Nick Nemeth versus Sammy, and this was a fun match. I'm not a big fan of Sammy, but the dude can go in that ring, and Nick Nemeth wins, and that's it. That's Impact. That's the Thanksgiving special. Gobble gobble. You know, now it's December. Now we got to count down to Chestnuts. I don't know. I'm trying to think. What was the song? I don't know. I had the song stuck in my head. You know. But let's talk about Turning Point 2024 at WrestleCade. I will say this is their weakest visual show because it felt like I was watching some Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, which is nothing wrong with that level of product, you know, because of the camera work and everything. And I know they're at WrestleCade. But yeah, the visually, it was not appetizing. Was the wrestling fun? The wrestling was damn fun, but it looked like amateur hour on this show. And I understand that they were at WrestleCade, but these guys have been turning out such great product lately. I was just kind of disappointed in the quality of the filming of the show. But we started off with Mike Santana versus Frankie. Awesome match. Santana is on his way up there. I meant. And I want to see him take on Nick Nemeth at some point for that championship. And I think Santana would be a great champion. But he gets to win over Frankie. Not a big fan of Frankie. Then we get the System promo. And then we go into our next match. It's the Turkey Bowl. This is a tradition. And I remember seeing this tradition and being like, what the? The turkey. Whoever loses this match or gets pinned, they have to wear a turkey suit. And this is Joe versus Eric versus Hammerstone versus Rhino versus Brian Gobble Gobble and versus John. It's a silly match, but it was fun. This was a really fun match with all these contenders. But Joe pinned Brian Myers, and he had to go gobble gobble, and they beat him up. And they put the suit on him, and yeah, that's the match. I'm not making this shit up. The loser has to wear the turkey suit, and that's the tradition. There's no the number one contenderships on the line. There's no titles on the line. This is just straight up the condition of this match is wearing this turkey suit. So, but fun stuff here. We go into the X Division match, Moose versus Laredo Kid. We had a Rosemary promo. I had to skip through it. I like Rosemary, but man, the whole acting crazy to act crazy is like, just like, it's just like, okay, how much can I listen to this? But we got Moose. He beats Laredo Kid. This was an okay match. Then we got a no DQ match, which was awesome. Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. The bullets at the end, the casings or whatever, the shells. Talk about awesome, man. This was an awesome match. I got to say, this is probably close to being my match of the night. But Steve Macklin got the win. Then we go into the Hardys and Ace Austin versus Zachary Kushida and a mystery person. Who is this mystery person? Bro. Yeah, that's right. Matt Riddle made his return into the spotlight. Well, he's been out there. He's been rocking indie shows and whatnot. I think he was at a JCW show, but Matt Riddle in TNA, awesome. Hopefully, whatever he had happened, the reason he got kicked out of WWE, he had the drunk shenanigans on the airplane and stuff like that. I hope he's getting good with himself because I like Matt Riddle. He's the bro of bros. But the Hardys and Ace Austin get the win. Then January 19th. It's already crazy to think about it. January's almost here. 2025. Genesis. So we got another show we're building up to. Then we go into our Knockout Championship match. Masha versus Jordan. 2 out of 3 falls. Rosemary's watching. She's the next contender because Masha got the win over Jordan Grace. What is next for Jordan Grace? She already established her rematch clause to get this match. What is next for her? I don't know. We shall see. But Masha versus Rosemary is going to be very interesting. But Masha retains. And then we go into our main event for the World Championship. Nick Nemeth versus Eddie Edwards. Of course, there's going to be an Alicia running. Of course, there's a Brian Myers running. And of course, there's still no explanation for this. My God, we've been waiting. JBL. Brian Myers comes out in his gobble gobble costume. And here comes JBL. I'm still wondering, even commentaries doesn't know. They're just like, well, yeah, JBL. Just, what is the connection? Hopefully soon we will get it because he's not only been doing this on Impact, he's been doing this on indie shows. Yeah, the long coat, the hat, showing up like a gunslinger, laying out everybody. So what is the point of JBL's thing? We're waiting. It is a buzz. What's going on? But that was Impact. November 28, 2024, I just talked about. And I just talked about Turning Point 2024. Honestly, Impact gets a 4 out of 5 because it was some entertaining matches. Turning Point gets a solid 3 out of 5. I got to say the match of the night was Josh Alexander versus Steve Macklin. That was just brutal, awesome, just awesomeness, man. So... And we're going to go right into it. We're not going to talk about SmackDown just yet because I want to say this. We're talking these in sections, and now we're just going to go straight into Collision/Rampage. Had an early time for this show because they did not want to compete with the War Games, the Survivor Series, PLE. Still getting used to calling those that because other things are called pay-per-views and whatnot. But yeah, let's go on to Collision, folks. November 30th, 2024. We're in Chicago. Tony and Nigel on commentary. And this is a packed, I think, overstuffed show. We started off with Thunder Rosa versus Harley Graham. What silly bullshit is this? Thunder Rosa gets the win. And I gotta say, she just can't cut promos, man. Yeah, this was an okay match. Harley was revealed to be Harley Graham. Then we get Renee backstage with Mercedes Moné, and then Camille, and then we get Private Party and Mystico versus MXM and Johnny TV. Johnny TV looking fantastic with these like metal feathers coming out of his back, man. He just looked awesome. But, of course, Private Party and Mystico get the win over MXM and Johnny TV. It was fun for what it was. Then we get Lexi with Anna Jay. Anna Jay's like, well, I lost. I can't go for that championship anymore while Mariah May has it. So I will kick ass, take names, because I'm Anna Jay. Yeah. She had a fun match with Mariah May. Then we go into Beast versus Serpentico. Awesome. Beast Mortos for the win. Then we get Camille, who was attacked, looking like Jade Cargill, how she was attacked, on SmackDown, laying there as well, chair over her head and everything. Who could it be? Who? We get the Outrunners versus Iron Savages. Outrunners get the win, and for some reason, here comes FTR again. FTR is like, we want to be relevant. We want to be something in this division, so we're just going to keep pairing ourselves with the Outrunners and coming out and doing the handshake. Yeah, that's what they do here. So, it's like, go away, FTR. Then we get Lexi with Max Caster. And, God, I'm so sick of the term best in the world. Best wrestler in the world. No offense to CM Punk. CM Punk can say it all day because that's what he is. And that's his shtick. But, man, Max, he's like, I'm the best wrestler in the world. I'm like, yeah, are you, though? Are you, Max? You're going to face Swerve, who I think is a little bit better than you, but Max is not with his boys, the Acclaimed. Some turmoil going on there, and I think that's going to fall apart very soon. Then we go into Hangman versus Yuta, and Hangman gets the win, starts attacking Yuta. Of course, we got the Mox cult, up there, and all rumors I'm hearing and everything, all speculations and everything like that, is Hangman, Jay White, and Christian Cage versus Jon Moxley in a fatal four-way at World's End. I'm rooting for Jay White in that one. But the Mox cult's watching. Hangman's about to beat up Yuta with the chair and everything. Mox is just watching them, just smiling. He's like, I'm crazy. I'm deranged. I don't know what movie I watched. And then then Jay White comes out, that attacks Yuta. No one helps Yuta at all. So, cool. I don't know what we're doing here, but all right. Thunder promo, and this is where I mentioned her promo skills. I was just like, come on. Then we get Lexi with a Hangman. We're trying to get Hangman, and Christopher Daniels like, you attack me, but I'm not going to do anything about it. This is the wrestler talking. No. Oh, man. There's no structure to this show. There's no like where we're going. There's no pinpoint of like a thread or whatever that keeps this show in line. Then we get Mina versus Lila. Mina gets the win. Lexi is with Willow, and I'm like, where has Willow been? Where has Willow Nightingale been? This show is missing some real star power with the women's division, and just missing just some great opportunities with the women's division. I have this guy I follow on the Twitter or X or whatever you want to call it, or was it a Blue Sky? I don't know. One of the socials puts up the times for the women's wrestling in WWE for the week and for AEW / Ring of Honor, and women are hardly showed on AEW program, like wrestling wise, like for the length of matches. Like I think they got clocked in at an hour something on WWE, and AEW / Ring of Honor gave them 18 minutes of TV time. Think about that. Across all pay-per-views and TV and everything like that for the week, 18 minutes. And we're missing stars like Willow Nightingale. Well, I'm missing her. Then we got the Where I really got more confused is this Continental Classic. We got a gold match. Okada versus Daniel Garcia. Daddy Magic on commentary as always. And Okada has that Continental Championship. And I'm just like, I'm confused. So this is for, this whole tournament is building towards the Continental Championship itself. It's right there. It's on a pedestal. And Okada has his over his shoulder. I'm like, so we're going to have 2 Continental Championships? I thought, he was going to forfeit it or something, because when they mentioned the Continental Classic, I was like, oh, I like the Continental. I like the rules of the Continental Classic and everything. I was like, but how does that work with the championship itself? Because Okada has it. I'm confused. Because Okada came out wearing it, of course, and they have it on the pedestal out there. But this match ended in a draw. My favorite part about this match is Daniel Garcia's like, I'm going to shake your hand. And freaking Okada flips him off in the face. Good old Okada stuff, man. And then we go right into, I think this was the main event. Yes. Because we have Collision/Rampage. We couldn't just call it Collision, but we go right into a very stacked Rampage. The first match is Thunder. I went all over the place on this. My bad, folks. Yeah, I was talking about Rampage and Collision all at once. Oh, well, my bad, y'all. My bad. I skipped over Juice versus Will Ospreay in the gold match. Oh, I'm so sorry, folks. So I gave you results of Rampage and Collision, and I was all over because I put numbers by them, and I thought number 1, Thunder and Harley. Yeah, okay, so then I think I only skipped over, let's see, Juice versus Will. That was fun. Will got the win. We got a Mariah May promo. Then on the blue gold, we got Kyle versus Beast. Kyle got the win. Don on commentary. Lexi's with Kyle in the Undisputed Kingdom. They're just trying to tell him, like, hey, can we join us, bro? Then we get Don and Takeshita promo. Let's see what else that I missed here. Top Flight. And on the Rampage with Action versus Shibata and Atlantis Jr. Yeah, so Shibata and them get the win. We get a hook package. We get Beast versus Serpentico, and Beast was on the show earlier. So this was a taped Rampage. Just everybody let you know. This is where Camille was attacked. Then we get Hechicero versus Commander. That was the main event of Rampage, and Winter is coming December 14th. So sorry about that. That was Collision/Rampage, November 30th, 2024. Solid 2 out of 10. 2 out of 5. 2 out of 5. Match of the night out of both shows. Okada, Daniel Garcia, and Juice and Will. I gotta say, those were my 2 favorite matches of the night. But yeah, no structure whatsoever. Collision was supposed to be different. Collision was supposed to be, they did the promos in the starting. It felt like, it's Saturday Night Wrestling, and I hate when he does these 3-hour shows and it's like, it's 2 shows. Collision/Rampage. You couldn't call it just Super Collision for the night. It has to be the both shows and whatnot. And one's a tape show, so it kind of already feels off anyway. So, but that's about it. That's about it. Not really anything to really look at. So, that's Collision. That's it. That's all. November 30th, 2024. Tony and Nigel on Collision, and Excalibur Magic on the second show, I believe. I went all over the place. So, all right, y'all. Let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about something good. Let's talk about something that makes us happy. If you saw the thumbnail itself, WWE Cinema. Oh, we're going to talk about SmackDown, November 29th, 2024. Cole and Graves on commentary. We started off with the women who are going to be in the women's war games. Bianca, Naomi, Io, Rhea, Bayley, Team 1. Team 2, Liv, Raquel, Candice, Tiffy, and Nia. Of course, it ends in a fight. Rhea looking like a badass. And when we talk about war games, she's going to look more like a badass. But man, this was awesome. This got my blood pumping. I'm like, let's go, man. Survivor Series. I can't wait. And I get to watch it live because I'm off work for the Thanksgiving break. First match of the night is Andrade versus Shinsuke. He has a big championship match for War Games, but Shinsuke got the win, and he looks great. That his new entrance music, the remix of it is a banger, folks. Man, I was listening to it. I was like, oh, walking around like I was Shinsuke Nakamura, But yeah, such a great Such a great match, man. Such a great match with Andrade. Then we get LA Knight. He tries to attack Shinsuke, but Shinsuke got him with the mist. He went. That's what he did to him in his face. Then we get the Bloodline and Nick backstage. Nick tells the Bloodline, like, hey, I already told Solo and them and whatnot. Like, this is a Bloodline rule. This match tonight between Jey Uso and Jacob Fatu, who's going to get the advantage at War Games? I don't want no one to interfere in this match. And he was telling the new Bloodline, and he tells the OG Bloodline later on. Then we get DIY backstage, and Tommaso Ciampa's losing it. He says, hey, man, Johnny, you need to get your shit together, man. You do. You really do. Because he goes, we're going to do it my way. You have 1 week to figure this out. Get a great Kevin promo saying why he hates Cody Rhodes, why he was never his friend and everything. And we have a match at Saturday Night Main Event in December, which I'm very excited about. Then we get Cody Rhodes versus Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo cuts a promo before, but this was an awesome match. Cody Rhodes and Carmelo just go together. They fought before, but when I was like, oh, this is going to be a match? All right, let's go, Dan. But Cody gets the win. Roman, Punk, Heyman, cinema, if you will. WWE cinema. They've done this before, especially with Cody and Roman, and then that tag team match they had to do, and the stuff they've done for WrestleMania 40. I really like this. And I got to say, this stems from NXT, the cinema stuff. But on the main roster, they're amping it up a little bit more on production. But, man, the sit down between Roman and Punk being like, I'm doing this for the wise man. I'm doing this for Paul. And then Roman's like, I can't do this. And he's like, you know what? Only this once. And I was like, oh, I got goosebumps, man. I got goosebumps. And then he tells Heyman, like, he goes, then what do I owe you? He goes, no, you don't owe me nothing. Paul does. So all of us are like, what's the favor? That's the thing that holds on to us. That is the equivalent of Wise Thor crying. It has become that. I've seen it all over the place. What's the favor? But man, cinema. Then we get Piper versus Lash versus Michin. This is for the United States Women's Championship qualifying match. And Michin gets the win, which I was very happy. Part of me wanted Piper, but Michin getting the win. That's fun. Chelsea was out there. Here comes B-Fab attacking Chelsea. Then we get Byron with LA Knight. He says, the mist in his eyes and everything like that. He goes, I will go in and do what I do best. I will be LA Knight, and I will beat the crap out of Shinsuke. And I will retain my United States Championship. You better understand that. Jay, Sammy, Jimmy, Nick, this is when they were told to not go out there. And we go into our main event. Jey Uso versus Jacob Fatu. Hoo-wee. This was some good stuff, man. This was a good match. But Jacob Fatu got the win, getting the advantage for the Bloodline. The new Bloodline is Bloodline on Bloodline, but getting the advantage over the OGs. But what a great SmackDown. What a great build-up for Survivor Series War Games. Solid 5 out of 5. My match of the night is Jey Uso and Jacob Fatu. And now let's talk about War Games. And I realized, too, just because, now that I'm doing this show very less and everything, I forgot to do my picks and predictions for Survivor Series and for Turning Point, and I apologize about that. I'm going to get better because part of me is like, man, I should just go back to the daily shows. But also, too, I like these long formats because we can talk pro wrestling here, and then we can go back to the Sexy Ninja Cast and stuff like that. All these good things to talk about. And I kind of kicked myself in the ass, folks. I just want to apologize. I'm usually better than this. And I just want to say I'm sorry. I hope you're still rocking with me, still rocking with this show. I love the New World podcast. 700 episodes the last season. And, I want to continue on more and more. But let's talk War Games, okay, before I get all mushy and stuff. But we're in Vancouver. Cole Graves. And there is one thing I will say about the Vancouver crowd. Not very loud. But that's besides the point. We're talking War Games. We started off with the women's War Games, okay? We got Liv, Raquel, Tiffy, Candice, and Nia versus Rhea, Naomi, Bayley, Bianca, and Io. A little sloppy to begin with. A little sloppy to begin with. Especially Nia Jax's chair shots, But once everyone got in there, once we started getting going, once Io Io Sky was the savior of this Survivor Games. I mean, talk about the trash can. That's become the sixth member of this group. But that's when this show really started picking up. Rhea's look, with the mask. And then when Liv finally got in there, she pulled the mask off and she had the battle paint on. It was just like, oh, yeah. But crazy spots. Of course, Team Rhea gets the win. But, man, started off a little sloppy, which I was like, oh, man, because, But it's okay. It got better. Io Sky is the superstar of this. And it got up there on that cage. What a great shot. Then we go into the United States Championship, LA Knight versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Well, this Shinsuke doesn't do that. This Shinsuke's badass. He's a warrior. He's a samurai. He's gonna cut your throat. That's the Shinsuke we have right here. And so we go into this match. I did not expect Shinsuke Nakamura to win this match, but he did. And I was like, good for him. This was perfect. Big Daddy messaged me. He's like, yo, awesome. I was like, right? I think they need to do something with Shinsuke Nakamura. I think this is the right thing to do. As much as I love LA Knight, I think Shinsuke has been on the back burner too much, especially when he was under Vince. Think about it. I was telling my wife, I was like, remember when Shinsuke and Asuka both won the Royal Rumble in the same year and they were debuting at WrestleMania and they both lost. Lost. They both lost. So I think Shinsuke, this is a good redemption for him, especially with his new look and the remix of the song and everything like that. So then after that, we got an Alpha Academy commercial for a classic t-shirts. I don't know. But it was fun. The best part about this was Otis being bottomless. They had to blur it all out. Intercontinental Championship, Ludwig versus Braun versus Sheamus. Talk about a banger. Oh my God, shillelaghs and just welts and man. But Braun Breaker retained. But this was an awesome match, dude. This match was freaking fantastic. I can't praise this match anymore. Like as much as LA Knight and Shinsuke was cool, the Intercontinental Championship match was freaking phenomenal, showing why that championship's the workhorse championship. So, great match. Braun Breaker for the win. World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther versus Damian Priest. Man, I think Damian actually hurt himself, hurt his shoulder, had a really bad spill outside, but guess who cost him his opportunity again for that championship? Finn Balor. The demon is coming. I feel it. We got Saturday Night Main Event. We got to build that card. We already have Cody versus Kevin. We're going to have Damian versus Finn. I believe I have to. We got to have Roman versus Solo. That's what's got to happen. But Finn cost Damian Priest the championship. But this was a really fun match, man. And Gunther got a little bit of his confidence back. And hopefully he's not a scaredy cat anymore. Now, let's get into the men's war games. Yeah, we'll talk about more cinema, more moments, feel-good moments, like goosebump moments, We had some crazy table spots. Shout out to Jimmy who broke his toe on the second table spot. Shout out to Bronson Reed for shattering his ankle, man. Oh, I hope you get better soon. I saw him tweet injuries injuries don't last long, but memories last forever or something like that. Which, for real, him jumping off that cage and Punk saving Roman, the images we've gotten from Roman and Punk in that cage, Punk going off script as he came out to rile up the cage with the new bloodline and everything. Awesome. And the moment when Punk was about to go, Roman puts his hands out and tells Sammy, you go. You're like, oh, ooh, God. And them just in the cage with each other. I was like, that's going to be a meme. That has to be a meme. And it already is. It already is. Everything was perfect. The match itself, great pace. I like the fact, the problem with the women's war games, I would say the biggest problem, was every single competitor in the women's war games went for something under the ring. That got a little annoying. I was like, really? Every single one of you is gonna grab something? That's why I like this one. I was like, yes, they got some chairs and they got a couple tables, but that was the extent of it. They didn't need anything else. They just needed to beat the crap out of each other. And once we got down 5-on-5, Punk and Roman, they look at Paul, and he's like, hey, you guys got it, please. And then they all standing there, then they go to war. And Roman climbing the cage because Solo locked him out. And then we got to see Roman fly, air Roman go, man. He goes, wee! Yeah, and the end was Solo. And then the handshake between Roman and Punk. Oh, God, I'm just thinking about it right now. It was so good. God, this match, I had to rewatch it. I have to rewatch this match again for the third time because it was so good. And then the ending shot with OG Bloodline with Punk, with the ones up and to go to sleep, so good. I mean, I automatically put that on my Facebook, like the little header. I was like, this moment right here will last forever. And there was speculations and predictions of The Rock showing up, Brock showing up, Brock, who's the final boss, the Beast, who's going to show up? Nobody. And I was okay with that. With that ending shot of the show, I was very okay with that. I was like, no, I'm in my happy place. I'm in my happy place right now as a wrestling fan, as a WWE fan. Like, this is the way to end my weekend. Which Collision ended my weekend. But still, this is the way to end my weekend. To be on this high and look at I saved a lot of pictures from War Games, like with Rhea's look and everything like that. Shinsuke getting the title. That picture I'm going to frame with the Roman, with OG Bloodline and Punk and Paul Heyman and stuff like that. And it is such a great moment. War Games was awesome. Survivor Series 2024. Match of the night is the men's War Games match. Second to that is the Intercontinental Championship match. 5 out of 5. I am very happy with this year's Survivor Series. Even the women's War Games match is as funky as it was for everyone going under the ring, getting a weapon, and it starting off a little sloppy. Once it picked up, these women could go. I mean, let's go, man. And Shinsuke getting a big win like this, it was just a really great pay-per-view. Drama. Finn Balor, Damian Priest. Now we're building up to Saturday Night Main Event, December 14th in Long Island, New York. I think that's the only show, right? For WWE. I know the next pay-per-view for AEW is World's End, and they have that show, the big show, Wrestle Gods or something. I don't know, Wrestle something that has New Japan, CMLL, AEW. Willow mentioned it, and they haven't really been promoting that show as well either. Willow is the first one, I think, on Collision to be like, yeah, I'm in this tournament that's going to be at that. What is that show called? I Wrestle something. It was Wrestle Kingdom? No, that's New Japan. It's Wrestle something, but it's going to take place at the Tokyo Dome. I've heard little about it. Kenny Omega's over there wrestling again, making his debut. I don't know if he's had his match yet, but still. Overall, who is the winner of this week? WWE. Hands down. WWE is for the win. Great SmackDown. Great War Games. Out of TNA and AEW, AEW, they need to find something. And I finally got to hear Jim Cornette's his thoughts on the finish for Full Gear. What's funny is, like, I was looking at the finish of War Games. Oh, Deadline. NXT Deadline's next week. So you got that. But yeah, no, I was listening to Jim Cornette's thoughts, and I was thinking about it too. As Full Gear, I was like, damn, what a shit ending to a pay-per-view. Then I watched War Games, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's the good stuff. That's the stuff I want to keep on the table, So WWE gets the win this week. I'm excited about Monday Night Raw. Punk is going to kick off Monday Night Raw. I cannot wait. So let's get to it. Let's do it. Let's rock it. Let's pop it. Let's lock it. All that good stuff. And thank you for listening to the New World Podcast, brother. We got to talk about an action-packed weekend, full action-packed Thanksgiving break. Now we're on to Christmas, then New Year's in 2025. Netflix, Raw premiere. It's going to be awesome. So thank you for listening. And thank you for being patient with me. I'm so sorry I butchered my Collision/Rampage. Well, you ain't missing much. There were some good matches there, but you ain't missing much. So, all right, y'all. Tell me what you thought of TNA this week, AEW, and WWE. Drop those comments below. Who do you think was the real winner? What was your match of the week, of the break, or whatever you got? I hope you ate a lot of turkey. I hope you stuffed yourself, and now we got to get back on that treadmill and work out until Christmas comes along, and we got to work off all that. All right, y'all? So drop those comments below. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, share with your grandma, share with the bum down at Walmart. I am KMB, the Sexy Ninja, and remember that the New World Podcast is for life, bro.
The meteoric rise of Roman Reigns.
No comment.